Final hours, anxious wait. Hello, everyone. I'm François Picard. Welcome to a special edition of the France 24 debate. It's the world's most powerful nation taking a big test. With this election taking place in the midst of a pandemic, with a record early vote count and all sorts of questions over what happens when the polls have closed later on. Over the next hour, we're going to be taking a look at what's exactly at stake. And joining us first is France 24 Washington correspondent Kethevane Gorjestani. Before we talk about what's happening at the polls, tell us about the two candidates on this election day.
Well, final day for them. It was an early start for the President of the United States. He had an interview on Fox News, and then he headed to the Republican National Committee, the headquarters in Virginia, to speak to those campaign workers helping him out on this final day. For Joe Biden, it was also an early start. He started out going to church in his home state of Delaware. He actually went where his son Beau is buried, because he said that on every big day for him, he likes to visit his son's burial site. So that's how he started. But then he went to the all-important battleground state of Pennsylvania. Well, he's been speaking to voters, trying to get those final people who have yet to cast their ballot to actually turn up to the polls, because he knows, especially in Pennsylvania, all of these votes will count.
Yeah, undecided voters, a rare species in this election. And I guess the word of the day, Kethevane, is anxiety. And we heard it from polling officials that we saw in Maryland bright and early. They weren't worried about the process today. They're worried about what happens when the polls close. And walking over here, and we're just in front of the White House, I got to say, it is a shock when you compare. We were at this position 4 years ago to see you can't see it on TV, but this barricade that's downstairs in front of the White House, and those barricades even getting longer in the last 24 to 48 hours.
Well, they've been getting gradually higher and bigger throughout the past few months that I've seen here. And of course, these past few hours, they've really reinforced those barricades around Lafayette Square. But it's true of the rest of the city. Also, stores boarding up their storefronts. It's true of other big cities, Philadelphia, New York, LA, all of that, because people are just really anxious, because the country is so divided, because there's so many questions about will all the votes be counted? Can we trust this electoral system? The president, of course, has not really helped that anxiety, because he has used that for months now to put into question this election, the election integrity, the mail-in ballots, all of that. And so you have a sense of people preparing for the worst, but hoping for the best, which is getting results that are clear and not waiting too long for those results.
Not waiting too long, and that's where the trouble could start, because we won't have a winner on election night. Let me ask you, it's called Election Day, but I guess we could call it Election Week. That's how it felt for the people, again, we went to see in polling stations earlier, the sense that, well, there aren't many more people voting today than there have been, for instance, in Maryland, where the voting started a week ago Monday.
Yeah, I could even say it's election months, because some early voting in person started in different states all the way back in September. So people have been voting for a long time now, and especially in the DMV area, Maryland, Virginia, and Washington, D.C., a lot of people took advantage of early voting in person, of mail-in ballots, and you see in a lot of states that you have a lot of people who have voted. 100 million Americans have already voted. So this election day is really to see how big of a turnout it will be. It's already looking like it's going to be big. Will it break the records? That's what we have to see. But remember, at least 6 states have already, just in early and mail-in ballots, have already surpassed their total number of ballots cast back in 2016. So it shows that people are excited about this election. They want to vote, and they're taking every option to vote.
Are you like me, Kethevane, oscillating every 10 minutes between thinking that, yeah, there is reason to be anxious, and thinking, well, it's the United States, and when we see most people exercising their civic duty in a responsible manner, it's going to be okay?
Well, it is a balance because we keep seeing things that are positive, others that are a little bit negative. But I feel like this wave of people voting does give some hope, and probably it will all come down to how clear the results are one way or another, and how quickly we get those very important and decisive states, and how we know for a fact who has won.
All right, Kethevane Gorjestani, it's going to be, what do you call it, a long night or a short night for you?
Short night.
Short night, all right. Well, Godspeed to you. Kethevane Gorjestani, France 24 Washington correspondent. And